Narayanam namaskritam naram chaiva narottamam devim sarasatim vyasam tato jayodirayat nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevya bhagavatiyatamashukhi bhaktir bhavati naishtiki nigama kaparur garidam param shukamaгаram itavdavya samitam pivata bhagatam rashamariyom mohorohoro sikavivakaham Krishna sainama bhagate damagani sara karonishtam dishamisha paranako dunoditaham Tamapiyadavishutta Vishudamivu Samapiyadam Viraksaram Prabhyahituham Sanklesha Nirvanam Santi Nanyataham Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutare Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tanamane Namaste Sarasati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nivashesa Sanyavadi Praskita Desadhari He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namostute Jayatam Shurito Pango Mama Meter Meter Gati Matsavasha Parambojo Radhanamara Mohanam Sriman Rasa Rasaram Vamsi Pada Karsan Vanesan Ekopiri Gopinata Sri Saram Divyadvindaranya Kapadumada Srimad Ratakada Shimashanishto Shri Sri Radha Shila Govindada Prasalavihi Seva Manashmanami Namo Brahmane Devaya Go Brahmani Taya Jagadi Taya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaham Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Good morning. What's it called? We've been away so long now. Oh yeah, Motivational Monday. And tomorrow is, hold on a second, Transcendental Tuesday. And after that, Wisdom Wednesday. Those are our 3 days we join you or invite you to join us during the morning hours for ruminations on the great Srimad Bhagavatam, the beautiful story of the Absolute Truth. We had a hiatus because of getting ready for the Festival of Colors. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of things running, zipping through your head that you have to do in order to make a successful festival. So we didn't do our shows 2 weeks ago. We didn't do our shows last week, but it was all in a good cause because the festival was successful. Good morning, Brent. I'd like to thank Brent particularly. Worked so hard during the festival. Usually when we're on the road and we have to pack up by 6 o'clock, that's the regulations of the park we're renting. I asked the crowd to bring the flags in, bring the rubber bases, bring the legs in, and I pack them into the truck. But it's the end of a long day. Our day starts at 6. It includes not only setting up the whole festival site, but myself. I have to put fires out, deal with emergencies, and deal with the fire people, the health people. I have to deal with the performers. I'm a performer. I'm announcing, doing my little rap, and then it's a takedown, and then we try to take advantage of the crowd just before they leave. Say on your way out, bring a flag, bring a base, bring a leg, and I pack them in the truck. So that phase of putting on a festival is always the most trying because you're tired and you really have to push yourself. So I thought, well, Sunday night we're here, we're at our home base. We don't have to pack everything up right away. We're not under any burden from any parks department or anything. So I thought I'll just skip the part about asking the audience to put the flags away. It's been a 2-day festival. I was tired. We've got volunteers that can do it Monday morning. So I come out Monday morning. Where are the flags? My first thought is maybe some students stole them. They're out by the roadside, and sometimes students think it's a nice prank to steal your flag and put it outside of their dorm building. But lo and behold, I looked in the truck and they were all there, and it was Brent and Jason, one of our in-residential volunteers, that had taken upon themselves to put those flags in. And I was just particularly grateful to them for having gone the extra mile that evening and saved me that trouble. Some of the people that joined this talks regularly, Brent was incredibly helpful. Rob, who jumps on the Zoom call more often than not, was amazing. He organized the food cart. Joshua, who's right here in Spanish Fort, was right on top of the trash the whole day long. Natalia from Salt Lake City. missing one person who also was very good with the trash. I think Mark and Daniel watched the EMT and the Performers Gate and parking. They processed all the people with invalid tags in their cars to come into the festival. We didn't have the number of volunteers that we'd hoped for, but we really had quality people. We really had the best type of people. Ross Vilas managed the food bit. By Bobby, you can't say enough about Bobby. She's a colossus in devotional service. Brad and Nick worked the color booth along with Paki and Kapil for long, long hours. Too many people to mention. The performers were TK and his Namrak band, Mandatara, John Arden, Julio, as well as TK himself. We had Johanna Beekman and Josh Jaffe as one of the bands. We had a new band this year, Mikey Pakar. Mikey is Hebrew, Orthodox Hebrew, and he does kirtan based on the Jewish chants honoring God. We were joking to the crowd, saying that if you, how many people have on your bucket list to learn Jewish chants at the Krishna temple? Actually, a few people raise their hand and say, well, you can cross that off today. It's really quite effective, because chanting is chanting, God is God. There are many names for God, but he's still God. You may call him the sun, you may call him Soleil, you may have different names for him according to what language you speak, but it's still the same sun up in the sky. It's not an Eastern sun or a Western sun or an American sun or a European sun. Sun transcends all those designations. So God is God. And it's entirely in keeping with our non-denominational practice of honoring God by chanting his holy name, to invite Christians and Hebrews, Muslims, to come along with us in our festivals and to honor the one supreme creator of us all. So good morning, Jean. Good morning, Divya. Good morning, Ram Kishore. He says he will come next year to do service. Yes, we would certainly welcome you. Anjali, who jumps on these calls quite often, she was here. She flew up from Phoenix, stayed with a friend the first night and stayed in our ashram the second couple nights. She was incredibly helpful. She has a wonderful singing voice. If I'm not mistaken, she's made a couple of albums. So she was backup for all the bands, pretty much, except for Mikey Pakar, because we don't know the Hebrew chants so well. She did a great job. Jai Krishna, his band is called Ananda Group. They play for the Festival of Colors every year for 20 years. Same guys, but they're not devotees. They're good guys. They love Krishna consciousness, but they don't chant. Jai Krishna has to depend more often than on his wife Kim for his backup. She didn't want to come because of COVID, but Anjali backed up Jai Krishna, and Karen Seva from Los Angeles. They sang along with Jai Krishna. Jai Krishna told me Saturday night she never ever had better backup singers at any other of the 20 festivals he's done. So I'm so happy for Jai Krishna, because you can imagine the drain of your energy when you're not only singing the main vocals, but you're also providing your own backup at a big festival where there's thousands of people. So I'm glad for Jai Krishna. Malini, one family made a video. I posted a link to it on our Facebook page. You want to check it out. And they put a caption. They had a picture of Malini on stage, getting on Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. And they said this girl had an insane amount of energy. Malini is one of the kingpins of our festival. We couldn't even imagine having a festival without Malini and Taneja. She's everywhere. She's on the main stage. She's on the lake stage. She's down amongst the audience. She's back up singing for the artists. When I'm doing Ganesh or Hanuman, she's pantomiming. She's ad-libbing with the gestures and the mudras, doing an expert job. So thank you to everybody. Akanksha came and liaised with Sarika locally to present interactive body pop dance, which is always a high point of the festivals for the young people and the young students. We didn't have as many people as we would normally have in March, for various reasons. I think a lot of parents whose children weren't vaccinated stayed away. Not that we didn't have a lot of kids and a lot of parents. The bounce house areas were packed all day long. Thanks to Brian for doing balloon configurations and watching the bounce houses also. But probably between 6 and 10,000 people over the course of the day, which is a little less than half of our normal crowd. Nevertheless, it was a substantial crowd. A lot of people were positively influenced by Krishna consciousness, spent a lot of their energy chanting, dancing. There were a number of food options, all of which were cruelty-free. So I think all those that got the higher taste of helping us to put on the festival and maintain it during its duration would have been very, very satisfied with their role. And speaking of giving people the opportunity to participate in this wonderful project here, actually I don't have a virtual background of our temple in Spanish Fork. I should have it for this next little bit, but there is a connection. This is New Krishna Sarovar in the sacred tract of land known as Braja Vrindavan. It was built by, I'm told, Man Singh about 500 years ago as a devotional palace to Lord Krishna and Radha. But this is the prototype. This was the inspiration for our temple in Spanish Fork. We're doing a GoFundMe. We have, after 20 years, the stucco's gotten some cracks and some water stains. So next week, the company's supposed to come in, prime it, fix all the cracks, and then do a skim coat to kind of touch up a light coat of stucco, which will make the temple look brand new, so that the kind of frayed edges and discoloration that's occurred over the course of 20 years, hundreds of thousands of visitors, will be counteracted. The temple will look brand new. It's going to come at a price tag of $19,900. And then we have a sign. For 10 years, we've had 2 big billboards on I-15 to draw people off the freeway. But it's never occurred to us, I don't know why, to have a sign on our little country highway here. It's very well traveled. Sometimes you come out of our driveway, sometimes it takes you a full 5 minutes before there's a break in traffic before you can pull out and turn right and left. And there's a stoplight just down the street. If you turn left, you'll encounter a stoplight in about 100 yards. So that's how well traveled our Route 91 or 89 is right here. It never occurred to us to have a sign. So we've contacted Allied Signs in Springville. They've got the permit for not just one roadside sign, but then there will be another one when you're driving up the hill on the left-hand side. It talks about yoga classes, weddings, Sunday feast at 5 o'clock. It's got our website, it's got our phone number. Most importantly, got a big welcome sign. The inspiration of this came from a Japanese man. We had a preschool tour here for the Lamas, and one Japanese man, and they stayed for lunch, and this Japanese man, he's American. He's more American than I am. I don't know why I say Japanese, but I'm just talking about genetics or facial features. He came up and he said, you know, I came early. I brought my daughter for this tour. All the parents were shuttling their kids, and many parents took the tour along with their kids. And he said there was no sign. And so I thought that I was intruding, that I was unwelcome. Why would anyone think they're unwelcome to church? Churches are generally open to the public all over the world, but that is actually not the case in Mormon Utah. Their temples are private, and you have to meet all the rules and regulations in order to go to the temple. Be temple worthy, which means you have to give 10% of your salary right off the top and do a lot of service, a lot of man hours. You have to be worthy. So the temples are not open to the public. The worship halls are. I think they call them chapels. But the temples themselves are very private and not at all open to the public. So in an area where that is the standard, it dawned on me, hey, we need a sign. This man said, if you're open to the public, if you want people to come visit, why don't you have a sign on the roadside? And we thought, well, we've got 2 billboards on I-15. Wouldn't people get the idea? Even local people go here and there on the freeway if they want to get there quicker. But I realized the man was actually right. And then he's Japanese looking, right? So I said, how long have you lived in the area? He looks at me like I'm an idiot, which is true. And he says, I was born. He says, I went to Springville High. I'm a Red Devil. I'm like, well, put my foot in it right there. But this man, and he owns a big factory. Very well, he told me he owns this big, it's like Nature Sunshine or something. If you didn't know it, Utah's a center for all kinds of Nature Sunshine, New Skin and New Life and Young Life, and all these herbal companies for health. He's a big mover. So thanks to him, I didn't get his name. Thanks to him, we immediately started looking for a company to assign, and the permit is there, so it's just a matter of time for it to assign. So the total bill is like $21,000, and we generated some income from the festival. I won't lie to you, but we still want to give people the opportunity to be part of this project. This is a project which is personally overlooked and supervised by Krishna. From the very beginning, there's no way Bobby and I could have mounted and undertaken and accomplished this project on our own. It is so much evident that it is Krishna's personal project. Krishna picked the parrots, he picked the llamas, he picked the cows, he picked the fish. He organized a beautiful lake with a fountain and a waterfall. He inspired Bobby with the architecture, and at every step of the way, Krishna is taking us by the back of the neck and pointing our nose into an area in which we should be improving or which we should be renovating. And even though we have never gone out on Harinam on a daily basis, we have never done book distribution in the parking lots and the malls, which are the hallmarks of ISKCON temples all over the world, main sources of income. We have prospered. We have kept our bottom line robust just by having a wonderful resource, an oasis for people to come to and be amazed, to interact with the animals, to gape at the architecture, and to refresh themselves from the burning fires of material world. Krishna has personally engineered every detail of this project, and he continues to do so. So we're giving everyone the opportunity to help. And I know most of you have helped at least on 1 or 2 occasions in the past. Govinda Dev is like a major monthly contributor as well as special occasions. And so, but there are so many other people out there who come as tourists or visiting devotees or who intersect with these podcasts, or have been to a festival. We had Chandrasekhar often joins these forums as Chris Myers or Chandra Myers. He was here for the festival. We had devotees from all over the country really drop in. And so we just want to make the opportunity available for you to participate and be a part of and get satisfaction from a project that Krishna is personally supervising on a day-to-day basis. And we will match all funds up to $10,000 with the proceeds from our festival colors. All right. Having said all that, we've already gotten 20 minutes into our time and probably have another 20 minutes left. But yeah, I just wanted to catch up, get back up to speed after having been otherwise engaged for a couple of weeks' time. I'm refreshed. I don't know about you. I'm ready to go, ready to dive right back into the philosophy. And I believe this would be the 4th time we're revisiting the 23rd verse of the 5th chapter, the 1st canto, Srimad Bhagavatam. Aham paratita bhave papan mune dasyastu kasyachana veda badanam nirupito bala evam yoginam shushushana pravisha nivikpikshatam. This is, again, as is so often the case, Narada Muni speaking to Vyasadeva here. He says, I was born as the son of a certain maidservant, engaged in the service of the Brahmins, who were following the principles of Vedanta. When they were living together during the 4 months in the rainy season, I was engaged in their personal service. I was listening to a talk, I just happened upon it 2 nights ago, by a devotee from Chopati, and those devotees are so scholarly. They're just amazing. And I couldn't get this devotee's name. He was kind of thin, a little older. He looked like he was probably about 50, throwing out verses like, conversation. Like, some of them I knew, and many of them I didn't know. But he was saying, I was wondering about Narada Muni. There's Nitya Siddha, and then there's devotees Sadhana Siddha. There's devotees that have become perfect by the mechanistic process of rising early, taking prasadam, speaking only about Krishna, following the orders of the spiritual master, associating with devotees, attending kirtan. These are all sadhana siddhi. They're practices to awaken your innate devotional service. Sometimes you don't feel like getting up early in the morning. You don't feel like chanting Hare Krishna, doing your japa, but you do it anyway. This is a mechanical process, but at the same time, it reaches down and evokes your dormant devotional service. The first devotee I met in Australia in 1970 was a Pendra, and he said the very same thing. He said, love of God is like a seed within your heart, but it's dormant. You need to know the technology. You need to know the means of watering it, nurturing it so that it will germinate, fructify, and ultimately produce the fruit of love of Godhead. So, Narada Muni is talking here about how it was he was apparently born under unfortunate circumstances as the illegitimate child of a single parent, and yada, 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 yada. So this devotee was saying, well, and he took prasadam, uchishta lepan, anamodu tu judra, shakrit sabunyi tadabash, evam papitasha vishuddhichena, tadarve matri. Talks about having taken prasadam, and it only took one time, it only took one meal of prasadam, eating the sacred remnants of food offered to Lord Krishna, whereby he became inspired to become Krishna consciousness. And then he also says, Tatanvaham Krishna Katapratayatam. He sat on the edges of the circle during the 4 months of the rainy season when the sages were discussing very intensely Makchitama Bodhyash Katayantastamam Tashanti Chara Manticha. The sages are stationary during the 4 months of the rainy season. They don't travel as they normally do. And they come together for kata, discussing the pastimes of Krishna, thereby deriving to Shanti Chara, great bliss and satisfaction and deep fulfillment. So Narada Muni was a little boy working around on the environments of the ashram, and he naturally eavesdropped. It says, Vasudeva Kata Prasham Purushams Chinpanantihi Bhaktanam Bhachakaram Shoktam Yadpada Sadhanam. 3 types of people are benefited whenever there's Krishna Katha. There's the speaker, there's the listeners, and then there's anybody else within earshot. Normally, we don't consider it a virtue to listen in on people's conversations and say, why don't you go stick your nose somewhere else? Where this is a private conversation. But it is a virtue to eavesdrop wherever the devotee is talking about Krishna, and the devotees want that. The devotees hope that as they converse amongst themselves, that sound vibration will reach others as well and bring them to the light from the darkness. And that was the case with Narada when he took prasadam and he heard the topics of Krishna. And so it appears he was a sadhana siddhi. It appears that he was practicing the mechanical process of devotional service in order to awaken Krishna consciousness, and that he became a purified soul. And in his next life, of course, he got the transcendental body and was able able to go by the mercy of the Lord anywhere unrestrictedly throughout the material and spiritual world. So it appears on this level that Narada Muni was a conditioned soul, forgetful of Krishna, and by his good fortune, he became perfect through the mechanics of practicing sadhana siddhi. Atachitam shabadatam nashiknim abhyasanam mamichaptam. Krishna tells Arjuna, if Krishna consciousness is not spontaneous, if you're not on the level of the Brajvasis, the gopis, then practice it under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, and this will bring out your dormant Krishna consciousness. It's already there. It's not something to be obtained from some other source. It is innate in the hearts of all living beings, but we have to practice. Like a child knows how to walk. It knows how to walk. We've had many other previous lives, some of them 2 legs, some of them 4 legs, some of them 8 legs, some of them 16 legs. We know how to walk. But at first our bodies are weak and flabby and without any musculature. And we're forgetful. We've been in the womb or the egg or whatever during the period of gestation. So we know how to walk, but we don't come out of the womb walking. We don't come out of the egg. Well, actually, some of us do. Generally speaking, in the human form of life, we crawl for the better part of what? I don't remember. Do you? A year and a half? Or is that talking? I don't know. Anyway, it takes some time to learn. We're not learning how to walk. We know how to walk, but we're remembering. We're reviving it, and we're also strengthening and defining our muscles to keep us upright and keep us from falling over. But we know already. Another example is given. You go to school. In the beginning, it's like so overwhelming. There's so much to learn. It's intimidating. You've never socialized with other students in a classroom. You're no longer under the shelter of the home. There's so many strange and unknown factors when you go to kindergarten and first grade. I can remember very little about it, but I remember the day the teacher taught us the. I remember that in the first grade. THE. She taught us how to spell the. We'd already been saying it, but we're learning how to spell in the first grade. THE. It certainly doesn't sound like THE. The. But the thing is, when you go to school repeatedly, and many times you don't feel like going to school, you don't feel like associating with your little schoolmates, you don't feel like taking instruction from the teacher, but you do it. And what happens is, there is a craving to learn within us. It's already there. It's not an imposition. And the more that we force ourselves, the more we do the mechanics of our schoolwork, the more it manifests itself. And eventually, you don't have to force yourself. You love it. You love the process of learning. You love the process of revelation, of discovery, of empowerment that school and learning represents. So it seems to be, that element seems to be there in the life of Narada Muni. He seems to have been born outside of Krishna consciousness, and he seems to have achieved perfection through sadhana siddhi. But this devotee, and I don't know his name again, he said he thought long and hard about it, consulted some of the commentaries of the great acharyas, and he concluded that it is mixed, that Narada Muni is mixed, that Bharat, for instance, is mixed, although they seem to have taken birth or fallen into unfortunate circumstances. They never forgot Krishna. There's not any hint in the elaborate conversation between Narada Muni and Vyasadeva. We don't get any sense that Narada Muni had forgotten Krishna at any point. He talks about having taken Prashadam. He was inspired by hearing the Katha of Krishna, but he never indicates that there was a time when he'd forgotten Krishna. So that means he underwent the process of sadhana, mechanically following the 4 regular principles, take Prashadam, associating with devotees, to revive his Krishna consciousness, but actually his Krishna consciousness was already there. It's like Bharat. Bharat fell down into a subhuman form as a result of the attachment that he had to a baby deer, a fawn. He thought of that fawn at the time of his death momentarily, took the body of a deer, but yet he tells Rahugana, Samam Shmitim Megati Pira Krishnachan Prabhavati no Jahati Ata Shangam Jana Shadasha Vishankam Ambarita Sharami. Although he was in the body of a deer, he remembered his Krishna consciousness from a previous life. He would visit the ashrams of the sages, take prasadam, and overhear the powerful kirtan. So there are instances when devotees appear to be outside of Krishna consciousness, and then they appear to revive their Krishna consciousness by the rules and regulations of Bhakti Yoga, but they never actually, if you look at it more carefully and more closely, you see that they never in all of that forgot Krishna. Krishna does that. Sometimes he puts his devotees in what we would call unfortunate circumstances in order to make of their life an example. And that is certainly the case here with Narada Muni. This is the most wonderful conversation between him and Vyasa. And what comes through very clearly is that in these demeaning, depressed conditions, Bharata became a deer of all things. Narada Muni was what we would call the illegitimate son of a single parent. That's a nice way of putting it. Another way is child at risk. What comes through in these and other such instances is a profound sense of humility. No pretense, no posturing. What you see is what you get. A little 5-year-old boy, now motherless, a great king of the world, now reduced to the state of a deer. Did they have a pity party? Did they say it was unfair? Did they say, boo-hoo, poor me? Did they blame anyone? No. They were Mahatmas, great souls, even as an illegitimate child, even as a deer. The souls in those bodies were fully Krishna conscious, great souls, exhibiting to the world that devotees can put up with anything, as long as the remembrance of Krishna is not taken away from them. Please, whatever happens, do not let me forget Krishna. Consider Vritrasura. Vritrasura was unfairly cursed by Parvati to take birth as a demon. He didn't waste a minute in self-pity or wallowing in self-pity. He immediately set about doing such acts as he would return back to devotional service as soon as possible. And even while in the body of a demon, even while creating problems in the universal order of things, and even while being disruptive, he did it only in order to get back to his devotional service. Pumsayam kalakante diyashakaram yad sampado divimarasha tajoshana shupar shadharaktir bhaktirana. Aham hare tava pare kamala dasana dashabhavana manash meditasha pareganam chan vinita kamadra. When will I divest myself of this demoniac body? When will the terms of the curse exhaust themselves, and I will again take birth amongst devotees and again join the circle of those discussing the pastimes of Krishna. Jata pacha ivam matanukha samyacha vishuram priyambiriyava vishunu manovirakshadis. Even in the body of a demon, he describes his mental state. He says, I am hankering after prasadam, the association of devotees. I'm hankering to get back into the thick of things. Ajata Pakshaivam, just like a little bird hankers. You see these little birds in the nest with their mouths out, just waiting for the parents to come back and drop a worm in there. They're hungry and they're hankering. Ajata Pakshaivam, the cow, the little calf, has been separated from his mother during the day. Krishna used to take the calves out to the pasturing ground during the day. And when they would come back at night after having been separated from their mothers for 8 or 10 hours, imagine how much they missed the milk from the udders of their mother, and they imagine their eagerness to get back and have a nice evening twilight drink hit of mother's milk before going to sleep with a full belly. So just as the bird hankers after the mature birds to come back and feed it, just as the calf hankers after the milk of its mother after being separated all day long. And just as the cow, we had a couple of llama rentals on Friday. One was in Draper. Raleigh and my Bobby went up and took care of that one. And then in Saratoga Springs, here in Utah Valley, I took the evening rental. They were having a fall festival, so they wanted llamas there. I took the llamas, and for 3 hours, people petted the llamas and all like that. But the llamas, we were in a big field, a big grassy sports field, and the llamas were just enjoying the grass. Every chance they got, they would lean down and grab some mouthful of the grass, and you could just, because we don't have as much grass here this time of year, they have to eat hay. So the opportunity to eat fresh, soft, succulent, juicy grasses is something which cows and llamas, ruminants, hanker after. So as the bird hankers after the parents returning, as the cow hankers after drinking the milk of the mother, and as the mother hankers after soft green grasses, Chitraketu says, I'm hankering after this devotional service of the Lord. And this appears to be entirely spontaneous. Entirely spontaneous. So these devotees like Narada Muni, like Bharat, and like Chitraketu, they're put into unfortunate, so-called unfortunate circumstances so that the Lord can showcase their steadfastness, that they are not going to deviate one iota from the hankering, the longing to serve the Lord. Narayana parasarve nakushan shargapavagana apitura jadarshana. Another quote from Chitraketu is, devotees can go to heaven, they can go to hell, they don't care. They're not always trying to manipulate and adjusting the circumstances like 99.9% of the people. They're fully surrendered to the will of the Lord. If the Lord sends him to heaven, so be it. If the Lord sends him to hell, so be it. Look at Bali Maharaj. He couldn't fulfill his promise to give 3 steps of land. And so Vamana pushed him down to Patala Loka, which is a hellish planet. But Vamana agreed to be the doorkeeper of Bali Maharaj. Vamana agreed to give Bali his eternal association. So the devotee says, if you want me to go to hell, Lord, that's fine. Just don't ever let me forget your lotus feet. Don't ever divest me or deprive me of the service of your lotus feet. That's all a devotee asks. What is it? Krishna Bhakti Nishkama Taiva Santa Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kamala Shaka Shaka. All other categories of men, the men who want to renounce, be known as great ascetics and saints and renunciants. They have hankering within their heart and they are not peaceful. Ashanta. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work, who want to manipulate and control the circumstances and environment to achieve happiness, so-called happiness. They are certainly not peaceful. They're always in turmoil, always disturbed. So neither the renunciates nor the enjoyers are ever, for even a moment, peaceful. But without any material desires to renounce or to enjoy, those who are engaged in the devotional service of the Lord are Krishna Bhakti Nishkama. They don't have any personal desires, save and except to render favorable devotional service to Sakaleshanta. They are amongst all classes and categories of men, women, nationalities, ethnicities. They are alone. They stand above and beyond everyone else as being perfectly happy, perfectly satisfied, perfectly peaceful. So that's the background between the stories of so-called fallen or so-called separated or devotees who are supposedly outside of the circle of devotional service. They never for a moment forget Krishna. They never lose a second's time in recriminations or blaming. They persist, they keep on, keeping on, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Because having once gotten a taste of the delicious, transcendental, relishable, devotional service of the Lord, one cannot but hanker after that again and again. Atavasha Padam Moja, Makalanda liham kiman yarasharabe ayusha yarasharahan. Makaranda atabasha paramboja. Once having licked the honey of service from the lotus feet of the Lord. Atavasha paramboja. Makaranda liham kiman yarasharabe. One does nothing else but hanker after getting another taste of the honey. So here we are. We stand before you. We're guilty as charged. We're addicted to Krishna consciousness. We have no interest in all of the bangles and whistles that society dangles in front of us. We only want to associate with devotees, take prasadam. Never forget Krishna. Always remember him. Never forget him. Following the footsteps of great devotees like Chitraketu, Bharat Maharaj, Narada Muni, and too many more to ever mention. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, we're back. And I feel like that went pretty good. Kind of a natural flow. George Govindadev wrote, he also remembers in the first grade being taught how to spell the T-H-E. It was, I guess the reason that we both remembered that amongst all the other experience, that sticks out because it was really baffling. T-H-E, the, it does, anyway. So maybe a lot of you had that same experience. Maybe you have that remembrance. The main recollection that we need to cultivate, reawaken, and revive is the remembrance of Krishna. We have a primeval relationship with him. And we have forgotten him. We, unlike the great staunch devotees, the Mahatmas, we have lived many, many lifetimes in total ignorance of the Lord. But we have the opportunity, by the mercy of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to rediscover, to uncover that which we covered with pettiness and with self-interest. So let's not waste the valuable opportunity that Prabhupada gave us. Use every moment for reviving our Krishna consciousness. Nice to see you also, Ram Kishore. Shukshma promised that she's going to come in March to help us with the next Festival of Colors. We'll hold you to that. Govinda Dev was visiting his father. His father's 102, and he hadn't seen him for 2 years. So Govinda Dev was absent that weekend. We ask you to put it on your calendar this time, Govinda. March, last weekend of March. I think it's the 26th and 27th. Only 6 months from now. When we're going to have another run at it. Ram Kishore, he also says he's going to come next year to do service and get our association. And we will look forward to getting his association, doing such a valiant job out there in Minnesota to make Krishna consciousness available. Brent, I talked to him last night. We thought he'd be gone for some time to Bolivia, but some of the 12 people that signed up for his tour had dropped out, a family of 4. So he's probably not going to go this year. He's going to go next year, which, of course, is a change in his plans, but we're happy that he's going to not be away from us right away. Oh, that's good. That's good news from my point of view. Although you might be a little frustrated, Brent. And Divya Joshi, Hare Krishna, my old friend Divya, and Jean also. Thanks to all of you for joining us as we return back to our Monday, Tuesday classes. We'll have more on this subject tomorrow, Transcendental Tuesday. Until then, have a great, wonderful Krishna conscious day. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.